Let's talk about Jugalbandi between physics and technology. The most important question to first address is how a physical phenomena is explained. You may be wondering how at all we would be able to answer this particular question. One way to approach this is to understand that one can start with a concrete situation or a well-defined problem. And this well-defined problem can be now cast in the language of physics, and one can utilize the laws of physics to address this problem or the concrete situation. Of course, the laws of physics is based on logical and mathematical arguments, and this has already been built into the physical law, which has been utilized for ages. Interestingly, this logical mathematical law of physics can give you explanation, and therefore it can also lead to prediction. And this is one of the important aspects of a physical law. And it can also very importantly answer the question why something is happening. Now, the explanation is not only useful to explain the why question, but it also has very interesting utility. One can actually go ahead and test this particular explanation, which leads to further prediction in terms of an observation. This particular observation can validate a particular physical law, or it actually can invalidate a particular theory which has been already put forth, which means that once it gets invalidated, one has to go and look for a better theory. So once you have a better theory, you come back and try to do this test through observation and try to validate this. Until and unless this particular cycle is satisfied, one would not be able to go forward. Now, the interesting thing about this validated aspect is that it has enormous utility, because this leads to technology, and the technology can lead to market, which means that one has started with a physical law, has been able to test it, and this tested hypothesis and the principle has been validated, and the validation leads to utility, the utility leads to technology, and the technology can further lead to a product in the market. Now, the interesting aspect of this technology and the market is that it can lead to new interesting problems in physics. And this particular problem in physics can again be cast in the form of a law of physics. By the way, this particular connection is also deeply interesting, and one should not really be invalidating this particular connection anyway, because one can actually have a law of physics coming also from a technology, and the technology itself can lead to some very interesting problems and can probably lead to a new law in physics. For example, transistor is an excellent example, because transistor was created as a device, but it went on to become an important solid state kind of device, which has led to so many interesting questions, which has led to so many interesting problems going forward. This particular connection between the law of physics and also the technology can be looked at as kind of a Jugalbandi. Jugalbandi, as you know, is kind of a mixture of music in Indian classical music, which also has been extrapolated to various different forms. And this connection of two different areas into one has very deep implication. Now, the interesting aspect of this physics and technology coupling is that it is cyclic. One can actually go from technology to physics and from physics to technology. And this is what actually leads to so many interesting aspects and also so many interesting careers. One can actually do engineering with the technology, what has been already produced. One can also do scientific research with the physics, which has already been actually innovated, and it actually can be utilized for various different aspects of interesting questioning of the nature itself. The ideas actually flow from scientific research to engineering and vice versa, because that is where the Jugalbandi really comes into picture, and it is kind of a double-sided road, as I have indicated. Therefore, whenever you are thinking about physics, there is also an interconnected technology sometimes associated with this. Of course, you may ask, how do you really connect this to, let's say, astrophysics or high energy physics? Even there, some of the innovations which have happened in the realm of physical principles has been utilized as a technology. and therefore one should always keep an eye for some particular new form of innovation which a basic law of physics can lead to. And you never know, one would be able to make some deep connection and therefore some outstanding discoveries and inventions. I hope this actually convinces you to really think about physics in a greater kind of detail. So thanks for watching. Importantly, subscribe and like this particular video, and do enjoy the physics and technology and mix that with history and philosophy as we do in Science Meets History. Until next time, bye bye.